Hello students. So students, in the previous class, in the chapter that is crop production, we were talking about that of the manure and fertilizer. You see students, we had discussed that what is manure and what is fertilizer. Talking about the manure is basically the organic matter. It means it is a matter that we obtain from dead plant and the waste material that we obtain from that of the dead plants or the dead animal waste. Okay, or the animal waste simply. Okay, so the plant waste and the animal waste, excreta, the dead plants as well as the dead animals, these all are used in order to make manure. Now you see that if we are talking about that of the manure only itself, you see students that it is basically used in increasing the fertility of the soil. We use manure and fertilizer in order to increase the fertility. So if a soil is there which is not fertile, it will not going to give nourishment to that of the crop. So in order to give proper nutrient, in order to give proper nourishment to that of the plant, it is necessary in order to give that of the fertilizers or manure. Fertilizers and manure provide all the nutrients through which it is means the crop is deficient of or the soil does not have. So manure, that is an organic matter, and it will help in increasing the texture of the soil. It is also used in making the soil porous, as well as it helps in increasing the water holding or water retaining capacity, and finally it also helps in the growth of the soil microorganism. So these are the things by which we can say that manures are really very important and they do not have any kind of a disadvantage since it is made up of an organic matter. You know that the manure are basically made in which the farmer, they used to dig up it in an open place and they used to keep all the animal waste inside it and cover it. And after a few months, you will find that it get converted into compost, and that compost is used in the form of manure. If we talk about the fertilizer students, so fertilizers are also used in providing the deficient nutrient or the nutrient which is required for the plant. But here, the thing that we have to keep in mind that fertilizer is made up of a chemical. So it is synthesized artificially or it is man-made prepared. That is the fertilizer. So it is made up of a chemical substance, and that is why it is made in the factories. So one is made organically, one is an organic matter, and one is made up of a chemical students. Fertilizers, examples like urea is there, potassium sulfate is there, then NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium is there, ammonia is there. These all are the examples of the fertilizers. We have seen that what is the basic difference between that of the fertilizers and manure. So the first thing that you have understood, that is they are one is made up of organic matter and one is the made up of a chemical. So one will be the biodegradable, manure will be the biodegradable, other, that is fertilizer, is the non-biodegradable. One will provide not this much amount of a good amount of a nutrient, that is manure. Means manure, since it is made up of the waste, once it is not necessary, that means the manure collectively it helps in providing the nutrient, but it is not there to maintain the nutrient or to provide a particular nutrient. But in case of a fertilizer, if the soil need nitrogen, we can provide that kind of a fertilizer. If it need a phosphorus, we can provide that kind of a fertilizer. If there is a need of a potassium, we can provide that kind of a fertilizer, or a sulfur, we can provide that kind of a fertilizer. So fertilizer help in providing all the nutrients to the soil. So this is the difference between that of the manure and fertilizer. Then we have seen that there are some other method. On the basis of that, we can replenish the soil automatically or by its own. And the first one was field fallow. In case of a field fallow, the farmers, they used to leave the field for few seasons so that the soil can replenish itself by getting all the nutrient, humus and air in this period of a time. So it's a kind of a break that we are giving to the field in order to in order to replenish itself with the nutrient and that of the humus. And this is called field fallow. Moving on, and we will see the second one, and the second one is the crop rotation, students. Crop rotation. What happened in case of a crop rotation? So here, one of the plant is grown in one season and other plant is grown in the other season, which will provide the nutrient which has been used by the crop in the earlier season. Okay, so we can write here that like farmers grow wheat. Grow wheat in one season. Okay, it grow wheat in one season. In one season, and legumes in other season. They used to grow crop in one season and legumes in other season. So what happened here? Wheat uses the nitrogen. It uses the nitrogen from the soil. It uses the nitrogen from the soil. And legumes, it helps in providing the nitrogen which has been used up by the wheat. So one of the season, the wheat, when it is grown, it used all the nitrogen, or it uses the nitrogen from the soil. Now soil become deficient of nitrogen, so farmer, they used to grow legumes in the same field, as leguminous plant help in providing the nitrogen to the soil. So again the nitrogen is filled with the again the soil is filled with that of the nitrogen. Before that it has been used up, so some of the nitrogen will get lost or the soil will become deficient of nitrogen. So that will be replenished by growing the leguminous crop in the other season, which help in providing the nitrogen again. So legumes helps in giving the nitrogen back, in the soil, Okay, so legumes help in giving the nitrogen back in the soil. So basically it helps in replenishing the nitrogen in the plant. So this is a kind of a crop rotation. So at one season wheat is grown, other season legume is grown, then next season wheat is grown, then next season legume is grown. So this is a kind of a crop is rotating one by one. So that is why the term here it is crop rotation. One after one crop, another crop is there. So it is a crop rotation, students. Moving on, and we will see the next method by which the fields they used to replenish the field, and that is that is mixed cropping. In case of a mixed cropping, the name itself explains that here two or more crops are grown together and the nutrient which is required by one of the crop is fulfilled by the other crop. It means if one of the crop is using the nutrient from the soil, so the other crop will provide the same amount of a nutrient or same nutrient to the soil. So by which the nutrients are balanced in the soil. So we can write here that in this method two or more varieties of crops are grown together. They are grown together. Again, that is in the same field. In the same field. And the thing that a farmer used to see while doing the mixed cropping, that is the crop are chosen in such a way so that nutrient needed by one crop is fulfilled by the other crop. Is fulfilled by the other crop. Okay, so the crop that the farmer choose while doing this mixed cropping method, that is one of the crop will help in providing the nutrient which is needed by that of the other. We can write here an example, that is cotton and groundnut. Okay, so let me write an example. Example is, that is cotton and groundnut. Are grown together. Grown together. Cotton and groundnut, they are grown together. Okay, so this is the mixed cropping. So by this, student, we have come to the conclusion that if suppose these kind of a method that we will use, that will also help in maintaining the fertility of the soil. See, why we are doing this, why we are leaving the field like that in case of a field fallow or in case of a crop rotation or a mixed cropping. What happens if suppose one crop is grown in every season or in continuous season? What happens if a crop is there, suppose wheat is there, and a farmer keeps on growing the wheat in the same field, then the wheat need nitrogen, so it will take the nitrogen. Okay. Now again in the next season in the same field the farmer grow the wheat crop, then again it need nitrogen and it will take the nitrogen from the soil. So at every season, if the farmer keeps on growing the wheat crop on the same field, so the soil will become deficient of the nitrogen. Okay, so that is why the farmer, they used to follow the mixed cropping or that of the crop rotation. For crop rotation, they use the in case for the wheat, if we take an example of a wheat only, so in order to fulfill the amount of a nitrogen in the soil, they used to grow the legumes. So that will help in providing the nitrogen back in the soil. Okay, although we use manure and fertilizer, that is one thing, but there are some other methods that the farmer use in order to maintain the fertility, in order to maintain the nutrient in the soil. So these are some of the methods here, students. Moving on, and we will see the next one or the next step, and that is irrigation. Irrigation. Okay, what happened in case of a irrigation? Like you see, let me write it, that is irrigation. So till now we had provided nutrient, we had prepared the soil, we have selected the seed, and we are giving the manure and fertilizer also. But is the thing that is only needed by the plant? No. Plant need water also. And this is what that we study in the irrigation. So you see, even our body also need water. Likewise, plants also need water. So if we are giving the sufficient amount of water to the plants, that will also help in maintaining the growth of the crops. So we can write it here, that is plants contains 90% of water. It contains 90% of water. And not only this, students, when we were talking about the fertilizers we used to throw in the soil. Okay, or even we used to dissolve it in the water, because it is soluble in the water, and then we will scatter it, or we will give it to the in the field. Okay, so basically, you know that all the things, if it dissolved in the water, even the minerals which is present in the soil is in the dissolved state, means it is present, or it is present with that of the water, combined with that of the water. So basically, when the water will enter, only then the fertilizers, the minerals will enter into the plant. Right? So water is a medium so that the plant will get not only the water itself, but the minerals also, fertilizers, nutrients also. Okay? So we can write here that water is the medium. It is the medium by which plants get minerals and fertilizers. Okay, plants, they get minerals and fertilizers. Now, even for the process of germination, seed required water. You know, if there is no water, if you have sown the seed but you are not providing water to it, or even if there is no humus or no moisture is present in that of the water in the soil, ultimately the seed will not grow. You know that for the germination of the seed, water is required. Okay, so even the seeds germinate due to the presence of the water. If no water is there, if a dry soil is there, so no seed will germinate. So water, or we can say under dry condition, seeds do not germinate. seeds, they do not germinate. So that is why we should give water to the plant. Now let us write that what is the definition of that of irrigation. So irrigation, it is a process of providing water to the field it is a process of providing water to the crop, water to the crop, to the field actually, field at a regular interval of time. So irrigation is a process of providing water to the field for their growth, for the growth of the crops at a regular interval of a time. Okay. Now here, when we talk about the irrigation process, sorry, it also varies from crop to crop. Not only crop to crop, but the conditions. You see, if a good condition is there, or even you see there are crops, they need more amount of water, they need less amount of water. If the temperature is high, they need more amount of water. If temperature is less, they need less amount of water. So these all are some of the factors on which the irrigation depends. So we can say that the requirement of the water also depends upon some conditions. Okay. So the requirement of water depend upon the first one, type of crop. What kind of a crop is there? You see, if it is a rabi crop or a kharif crop that we have started with. Meanwhile, starting the chapter only, I told you about the two types of a crop. So if it is a kharif crop, it needs a more amount of a water. So the type of a crop. And if it is a rabi, it do not need that much amount of a water. So we can say that type of a crop also decide the amount of a water which is needed to it. Then what kind of a weather condition is there? Weather condition. Weather condition. As well as it also depend upon the type of soil. You see, there are some of the soil which is having the more water holding capacity, and some of them they do not have that water retaining capacity. So it also depend upon the types of soil. So type of crop, weather condition, and type of soil. These all are the conditions which is necessary or which we have to keep in mind while seeing the irrigation method here. Now the next one is and that is the frequency. The frequency and amount of irrigation required amount of irrigation required varies from crop to crop. The frequency and the amount, it varies from crop to crop. Okay, paddy crop is there, required more amount of water, and wheat crop is there, required less amount of water. I told you about it that if it is a kharif crop, it need more amount of water, and if it is a rabi crop, it need less amount of water. Kharif, it is a paddy only, that's why it grow in the rainy season. So we can say that since it is of a plant of a rainy season, so it need more amount of water. And if it is a rabi crop, it need less amount of water. So irrigation also depend upon the type of crops, it depend upon the weather condition, as well as it depend upon the types of soil. Now, how water irrigation is obtained? How do we do the process of the irrigation? So, the water for irrigation is obtained from well, from tube wells also, and even through dams, through canals. All these are helping or helpful in providing the water for irrigation. So we can write it here that water for irrigation. Water for irrigation is obtained from wells, tube wells, dams, canals, etc. Okay. So this is the conditions which is necessary for that of the irrigation. If we talk about the method of the irrigation, students, so we have said already that water that we obtain, it can be from well, it can be from dam, it can be from canal, or that from the tube well, anything. So on the basis of that, we had classified the method of irrigation also in two types. First method is the traditional method. Okay, traditional method is the method in which the earlier people, how they use, because that time the technology was not good. So at that time the people they use, either they used to use the well water or that of the canals in order to fulfill the requirement of water to the crops. Okay, so here use of human, use of cattle, that is done for the process of irrigation. So we can write it here, that is irrigation is also of two types, that is traditional one and modern method. Traditional and modern way of irrigation. Okay, traditional method, it involves humans, involve use of humans, cattle, human, cattle for lifting the water. Okay, and what are the things which is included here, students? So these include chain pump, is used, or moat is used, or rahat is used. So we can say that these includes device, that is Rahat, moat, Rahat, chain pump, and dheki. So these are some of the devices which was earlier used in order to lift water from the wells or from the canals. Okay.